beautiful, but you also have that big talent missing that you could use there. And I mean, that was just fantastic play by the Monkeys. Great heads-up play throughout the entire game.
The Zealots are just having a hard time getting the train rolling, it seems like. They just can't find those fights that they want. So far, it's been a really good job of the Monkeys making sure to cut away appropriately, having a concave setup, not allowing them to go for that dive. But they can't find that moment where they want to go in as a unit of 4 and secure the kill. I mean, we happened to see that in the bottom left curse where Quack went in for the aggressive dive as Genji trying to force a fight, but Tyrael dropped the identification right in the middle to posture around and make sure that Malfurion didn't get caught by the salvo. So that disconnect is really hurting them right here. And Alex and the crew were willing to take that lead, run with it a boss, and get the win.
Yeah, it was a bit of a weird moment, and I'm not quite sure what Quack's thought process was there, but the second that the salvo connects on all of them, he has to dodge that damage somehow. Deflect is not ready for him. He goes in DP. Actually, I think he popped it just a bit too early there because he was going for the engage, but if he just stays with the rest of the team and they eat on the sanctification, they can maybe play around it. I mean, it's already a bad spot for him to
it's
be in.
difficult.
So it's really just like, okay, how can we salvage this situation? But when he falls and the immediate blow up against Genji happens, then you know it's a lost fight. So everybody else tries to scatter, tries to run, doesn't work out, they get picked off. And now it's a 2-0. And coming back from that, do they have really the mentality to pull it off in a series where they said this is important? We need to beat these guys. But the Monkeys, I mean... This team is so insanely silly, it actually blows my mind.
You can't wrap your head around that.
Yeah,
You just can't.
Last season, we come in 2018, and we hear Muck in the interview, and it says, like, we're going to be more competitive than ever. We really have found the motivation. We're saying, okay, we're going to the offline events. We're practicing more than we ever have. And we are going to contest our opponents. They have shaky starts, but they get their wins. And then all of a sudden they have this, I think it was a reverse sweep, and that's Team Liquid comes in. And their spirit is crushed. They fall apart. All of a sudden the games don't go as much.
Flatline.
And you're just like, and I mean, we bring in the Wheel of Wisdom because we're like, no one knows if they are having a great day or a bad day.
Maybe we fixed him with the Wheel of Wisdom. That was our last match that we pulled that on.
Yeah, it was us.
That was
all
us.
the wins on us.
You're welcome.
So they come in and say, we ourselves don't know what's going on. This season, they come in and say, like, okay, you know what, boys? Most of us are studying again, so we're going to do our best here. We're going to really we're going to cut down our training time a little bit. We're going for, instead of 2 or 3 sessions per day, we're going into only like 1, maybe half of it, just making sure that we get the practice in. We're going to prepare, but there's a little bit where we split our attention now. All of a sudden,
And now they look great.
I'm just like, are you kidding me? It's like...
I don't know. The Monkeys are playing pretty bananas right now, and we'll see if they can continue it as we get ready for game number 3. We'll be right back after this commercial break to catch more of the action.
Keep up with your favorite players and teams on the official HGC website for desktop and mobile. Stats, archived matches, and everything you need to stay up to date with the global Heroes of the Storm Esports League. Watch live on game days and upgrade your Heroes of the Storm knowledge. 2018 promises to be the best year yet. Look for expanded statistics, enhanced viewing experiences, and more on your home for the HGC.
We have forgotten what makes us strong.
Greetings, my friends. So nice to see you around the hearth once more.
Yo, Skaven Paladin is definitely one of the strongest contenders, if not the strongest at this point. The actual class diversity still remains high.
Bunny Hopper has conceded. AH is going to the Summer Championships.
This time we're going to be seeing different takes on the same types of decks and different lineup strategies.
It's go time! This is the Hearthstone Summer Championship! For the Alliance!
Rough day for the Zealots, but a good day for the Monkeys. They're up 2-0 over their opponents as they have been quite dominant, actually, in their engagements as they continue to look for a 3-0 here as we get ready for game number 3. Did you expect these results so far today, Caldor?
Not quite. I actually thought that this would be a very close one, but I expected the Zealots to be contesting the games a little bit more, and I actually thought that we would have a closer series where we're heading into, let's say, maybe even a 5th game.
Yeah.
Alex Master promised the team an extra couple of bananas or something, like, because they are really stepping up. They want this.
That potassium, man. Let's go to game number 3 here. Don't forget, there is a situation here where the Monkeys could fall flat. I mean, remember, last phase, there was even a game where they forgot to switch heroes before we went into a match, and it completely kind of broke down for them. So there are things that could happen.
For me, this okay. So every time we approach a new phase, for me, it's really you look. Okay, we have 8 teams in the league. So who do you think are the top 4? And usually between the top 4, there you will see the teams that contest the offline spot who bring it there. And when you look at the bottom 4, it's normally the question, okay, who of those teams has a chance to establish still a playoff position and then make it into an offline event if they have a really good run on that weekend, and who has to be careful about dropping into the Crucible. And of course, early judgments are always a little bit iffy. You can definitely whiff it on a team that all of a sudden plays extremely well. Best example would be the Zealots in phase 1 of 2018. But right now, when you look at what we have in terms of teams, the top 4 seem to be pretty established. You have Dignitas, Fnatic, Team Liquid, and Method.
Sure.
That's your immediate thought. Then you have a couple of dark horses around there. But what have we seen outside of that? We've seen Leftovers perform extremely well.
They're looking good.
That worked. Monkeys, much better than expected after what they said before. And who else do we have? We have Granite Gaming, who understandably struggled a little bit. And now we have Zealots, who start to fall flat a bit. And we talked about it before. This is the first weekend, and they will need a bit more time to just find that synergy. They've been very, very open about this, especially after the loss that they suffered on Friday. But now you have to ask yourself, out of those 4 teams, who's likely to drop into the Crucible? Who will have to try and dodge those spots? And right now, there is a real scenario in which the Zealots could fall into one of these positions. Now, again, they can still improve over time.
We still have 9 more weeks.
Yeah, shot calling is different, drafting is different, so it makes sense for them to need that time. But it's definitely a concern, and it has to be on their mind as well. So that's one of the things that we still have to think about when we're looking at this, and this could be a real threat. So it's not easy for them to deal with that too.
And it's a battleground 2 here where they need to make sure they have a strong early game against the Monkeys. And Monkeys so far in game 1 and game number 2 have been getting the upper hand because we are going to Sky Temple.
Yeah, and when we're talking about a team potentially dropping into a Crucible spot, keep in mind, we're not only saying that they're losing every single match, but if you assume just for a moment that the Monkeys and Zealots could find themselves in a spot where they're very, very close in the standings towards the end, maps matter. And if you lose this series without taking a single one against your opponent, that's a problem.
Yeah.
So for Zealots, it's incredibly important that if they don't turn around the series, they at least grab a few maps here.
Well, they can grab the wheel now and turn around the series, and they have to actually to even stay in it. Reverse sweep is one of the best ways for them to get the victory, at least get a couple of maps. Zealots will open up with a Tracer ban right away. Monkeys answer back with an out of their ban.
It's also just how you enter from a motivational perspective. If you go into the first part of the phase and you're saying, well, we just started with an 0-2, did take 1 map. If they lose here, for example, then they would be 1-6.
Yeah.
That's not a great start, and that's a problem. So this is the moment where the Zealots really need to use that short 5-minute break that we had and say, like, okay, guys, come on. We can do this. First of all, we still can win this series. But the most important part, we can at least take a couple of maps and set ourselves up for a decent map score.
Well, they open up with Dahaka, very similar fashion to what we had in game at number 2, looking to try and have that global and at least stay in the game. And that's something that Dahaka did do well, at least on Cursed Hall a little bit. It's kept them in the game in those situations where at least they have somebody something outside. Just need to have a little bit more coordination when that rotation comes in from him brush stalking in. And that's something on Sky Temple I feel like is a little bit easier to pull off, so you can sustain to that night camp push that you typically see from a lot of teams nowadays on this map. Now Monkeys, they get a strong opening. Genji comes out from Ake, and of course Blaze.
That rotation is already so scary for me, because last time we saw them with Blaze Hanzo, that was catering a lot to the map in particular. Now we're having Genji taken for Make, and we have Blaze again, and that's already a great start for them. I feel for Zealots, I would really like to see an earlier Hanzo again, because I think that especially on map number 1, Chris performed incredibly well on him. And if they can follow anything, any initial stun up with a good arrow, or just get one of Chris's arrows in again, that would be what can decide the team fights in their favor. And also you have more race potential towards the boss. So I would like Hanzo on their hand again for Chris in Chris's hands. I think that would be a great start for them. But the Monkey is already with a fantastic rotation there.
I want Grey Mane for Quack. I feel like also in game number 1, there were a couple moments where the kills that did come in, Quack was able to get that go for the throat and find a couple of targets.
I asked myself if they could, for example, play false set for Quack and run a double global on the map. There's Hanzo, loving that. The problem that I still have with the false set idea is I'm not sure if they are there yet as a unit. If you have more synergy as a team, if you played together for longer, then I think you have a better chance to pull a good global strategy
If you're
off.
trying to pull your opponent and trying to mariachi them, try to control what they're doing in the rotations,
There we go.
you have to make sure that nobody makes a mistake in that fashion, and I don't think the Zealots are quite there for it. Doesn't
But-
matter, Monkeys take it away.
Exactly. Monkey's taking it away because they have the same thought process. They're thinking about that too, and they're saying like, well, maybe they're not there yet, but you know what? That is something where they could just completely take us apart if it works well from their perspective. So let's make sure that they don't have the double global. And again, Phoenix picked once more, this time on Crosby again. They have a new Burak here. This is pretty much the same draft. Well, there's a couple of things, but the core of the draft is the same of what we've seen on game number 1. Genji, Phoenix, and a new Burak. This time we have it instead of Thrall, we have Blaze, and I think that's an upgrade. And then for the support, of course, Malfurion is banned against them. But there's still a plethora of heroes that we could see for Splendor here. I mean, you could easily go for Stukov, for example. Stukov would be great here.
I mean, the core of this composition comes down to Phoenix, it feels like. Monkeys, every single time they've gotten to an engage, they wait for that moment for something to be missed on the opposing side. In this case, it could be the Dragon's Arrow, it could be a Storm Bolt, and then they pop that salvo, and that's the indicator. Okay, guys, we are going in to force a fight. They drop a web on the protector of the competition for the Zealots, and they try to find a kill. Zealots will be looking to get a little bit aggressive here, though. Li Ming and Karazim.
Puts us onto Hanzo, going to be played by Quacknix. And we're going to have Chris on Li Ming. But we're still now in that spot where you have a Nuburak for the Monkeys that worked well in game number 1. You have Blaze now. I really like what the Monkeys have here. I said it in game number 2, the composition that we had for the Zealots was okay, but I liked the Monkeys a bit more because I think the execution was easier. I feel the same is true here now again. Support interests me still. What are we going to see here? I personally think that we could still see Stukov, but Stukov has fallen off a little bit. There's still other heroes that you can easily combine with that. I mean, we've seen Deckard, of course, quite a bit now too.
I don't mind Uther here.
Yeah, I mean, Uther works too. Stukov is just cool because you can be a bit more aggressive with the setup. But they go for Rhaegar. They really like the dog.
Trying to get him before his changes come in. At least get a cleanse here. So you can make sure nobody gets followed up into a Li Ming combo if the Storm Bolt does connect. Could be a thinking there.
Yep.
And you can also ensure that Ancestral Healing goes off thanks to the bunker.
It's a bit less aggressive than what the Stukov would have provided for you when you can with a Nuburak dive in deep and or you try to even set it up around a cocoon and you try and blow the target away. But Rhaegar worked well for them in the last game, has that more AoE heal approach, and of course the not only the cleanse but also, as he said, Ancestral is there for the burst heal. And Splendor played well around that. Like, he really had a pretty good game in game number 2. A lot of aggression when there was need for it, but yeah. Zealots, I hope that they can dig deep and really go for a win in game number 3, because if they lose this without taking a map, then I think they're going to have a very, very rough time, at least in the first part of Phase 2.
I don't know if I believe in it, man. I think the Monkeys right now have momentum. It feels like it's almost to a point where Zealots just feel a little bit off in terms of the connect and how they want to play the game. And that, against the Monkeys right now, who are continuing to run through them in matches, should equal a nice little 3-0, especially with such a strong composition. We'll see if the Zealots can do it, though, as we head into game number 3.
It's time for a bit more monkey business on the left side as we see Crosby for the team on Phoenix. We're having Alex the Pro G, Monkey King on Blaze. Roma Bola is at the front line with a Nuburak again. We have Splendor on Rhaegar, and of course Make on Genji.
On the right side, looking for a win today. Chris playing Hanzo, Shad on Karazim, Robodoba on Muradin, Zarmi on Dahaka, and it's actually Quacknix playing Li Ming.
Oh, interesting. I actually thought they would go the exact other way. But yeah, Quacknix has shown Li Ming in the past. He has played also Hanzo. That was on Fnatic when they still had some overlap in the hero pool as well. That they tried to
Major issue, though, for Quacknix. Look at that mount, man.
Oh my god, the pleb horse.
Not a good sign.
No, definitely not. It shows a lack of confidence as well, because, I mean, you want to ride with a money pick and you ride pridefully into battle.
Yeah.
Or at least with a Happy Cloud, but yeah, if it's just the pleb horse, then you already know you've made some mistakes. That's definitely a couple of wrong decisions.
Ooh, Storm
That's not the only one, though.
Okay, gets out, though. I mean, it kind of goes two ways. First off, when you're on a pleb horse, you show that you either have a lack of confidence or you have so much confidence that you're trying to dupe your opponent.
That's not how it works.
It can work.
Nah, if you go for the pleb horse, that's the first indicator that mistakes were made.
You are just so cutthroat on this. There's no other way.
Oh yeah, no. When it comes,
it's not that binary.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know. What do you guys think at home?
There's good mounts and there's bad mounts.
Dang, dude.
And I mean,
you'll hate on the
above
horse.
all, is the money pick. That's
Yeah.
that's the golden standard.
I mean, I'm willing
But-
to come to that. Like we've talked about. I'm okay with the money pick, but you can't hit on the horse that much.
Okay, no. But again, there's like good mounts that I still can accept, even though they're not the money pick. A couple of clouds come to mind. The golden cock is always an option.
The rooster.
Huh?
The rooster is
the same thing.
called. Okay.
It's the exact same thing. It's what it's called. Don't
Okay,
look at me
continue.
Like that.
I like this.
I
surf
didn't
mount
make
one.
the name up.
The
huh?
surfing one is really good. The shark bite out of the
I
surfboard.
don't know if I like the shark.
I like it when you got
It
murky on
depends a lot on what's... Yeah, murky in it is fine. Murky is fine. Then you have the shenanigans going on. So
I don't know. You guys at home, let us know. What's your favorite mounts? Is the pleb horse worth it? Are they trying to show some confidence here? Or are they lacking the confidence as we head straight into a fight over the Eye Watchtower here?
all right, I give you that. If you go for the pleb horse, you also have to go for the pleb skin.
Yeah, that's fair. You just try to confuse your opponent, make them think that you're new to the game. They dive you and you just completely destroy them.
That might work in Hero League. I don't think it's the same in HGC.
Bottom lane actually having a little bit of pressure too as Dahaka continues to fight against Blaze. Alex Aprochi starting to etch him out a little bit, pushing him towards the wall.
All right, there you go. Splendor and the boys are going for the camp. Monkeys, again, they have actually done a really good job with the camps in the first game. They have very aggressively, once that they spawn, taken them right away. Now, on this map, of course, it's pretty common that you go straight for the Siege Giants, and the Zealots are doing that now too. But we have a bit of a time advantage for the Monkeys. For me, personally, it's more so when they take the night camp, because that's a huge aspect of this. Rema comes in just a second too late to stun Quacknix out, as they were trying to go for the kill against Liming. But
Pale had connected.
if he gets a stun in early, then it's definitely lights out for him, and that would have been the first blood of the game. But at this point, still, it looks a little bit crisp, a little bit cleaner of what we've seen on the Monkey side in terms of rotations.
And it does. Immediately even moving over to the night camp in the top left. Blaze should be able to deal with the Giants that are pushing in the bottom. Zealots do have the secret weapon. If this night camp gets a little bit too aggressive, they can always bring Dahaka up. It's going to be on Blaze to make sure that he pushes that bottom out as much as he can to make sure Dahaka is very busy and be in a spot where he has to deal with the minions coming in. Zarmany hoping to clear out these Giants too and maybe get a drag to pull them in, but Alex is actually blocking that drag from coming forward.
Yeah, Alex is doing his best here, as you can see. He was really trying to put Dahaka into a bad spot if the Dinosaur, if the solo laner goes to try and pull the cam out, but of course he can't really do too much. Was trying to make sure that they can't get the drag in and everything else. Crosby with a quick warp away. Robodoba, of course, used the stun already, so you can't follow that up, but they definitely force him back here. At the same time now, we have the camp taken a little bit later for the Monkeys. So in this case, they can now try and defend. I would have actually loved for them to even delay it a little bit further, to just make sure that they have a better position defending their own camp.
Yeah, and Zealots actually stopped clearing the minion wave out to make sure that they would have that camp come out a little bit further from those turrets so they get the clear. Gonna be fighting over this top temple here. The Nubrak already attempting to grab it, but Shad being a bit annoying there. Delivering a few punches, helping clear it out where he can, doing the dance as Blaze and Dahaka will work on double soaking during this phase.
And this is already getting a bit crucial because both of the teams are heavily committed to the top and no one is going into the mid lane. So this is going to show who's getting a bit ahead in this game right now, in this early stage at least. Shad is forced off the temple for now, and we see Remaballer still holding the position, but now the camp is cleared. And that's time that the Monkeys now have to take that position over here.
They already have the turrets put out on the gates too, so with them grabbing shots, they are working on clearing out the well and also putting some damage on that fort. Zealots doing their best to contend though. As Robodoba walks on up. The night camp, however, is starting to eke its way over to their territory. Finally, they will clear it up. That gives a moment for Monkeys to walk over and grab a few more shots.
This early camp clear from the Monkeys was definitely something that gave them the lead, and now they're trying to get the final remaining shots. But Robodoba goes for the engage, holds the Stormbolt a little bit longer. Zarmany from behind. He tries to go for the drag. Nice block by Maka, actually, making sure that he doesn't get it against Splendor right away, but they have the patience and eventually confirm the kill against the dog.
They secure the kill. The shots, however, did go over to Monkeys. Oh my gosh, Maka able to come in here and find Hanzo as he'll pick him off.
And Blaze is in the meantime taking the middle.
Yeah. Getting those shots popping in there. Alex will have to start to back up though, because Zealots are rotating over.
Uh-oh.
Ooh, top lane though, Rimmer.
Yeah.
The Dinosaur, and Maka's here to help out as too. Works in those auto attacks, and Shurikens as well. Boom, here's the Swift Strike, and that is going to be a dead Zarmany.
Shad was so close, but if he dashes in and tries to heal him out, I think both of them fall. So they don't get that. And now, again, what are we looking at? We're looking at the Monkeys taking a significant lead, claiming the entire mid-temple, cleaning out the wall in the middle at the top, and they can rotate easily to drop the fort now. The Monkeys get a fantastic lead in game number 3. The Zealots are not looking good today.
They are not. Their early game in particular seems to be suffering a lot. It seems like when they get to the mid and late game, they make some calls here and there that seems like it could get them back in the game, but they're always in a spot where it feels like their backs are against the wall.
Yeah. I don't even know if you can blame them. It's just like the monkeys look so much cleaner today.
Yeah, they do.
They make good decisions in their rotations. They rotate very quickly. And they always have someone anchoring, providing vision. The camp that they cleaned out in the middle of the top lane a bit earlier that forced the Zealots to move off the temple, gave the extra shots in. Zealots then with a kill attempt, but then you have the individual skill level where, for example, Marke makes this play against Chris and takes him down on Hanzo. The fights continue. 10 is so close. This is a moment where the Zealots need to be very, very careful. Because 10 hits, and as any second now, there is going to be a heavy engage. Zealots with a really, really aggressive play. I'm not sure I like this.
They're trying to find the fight before 10 hits, but here is 10. Monkeys drop down the salvo and immediately hit 4 of them. Robodoba's low. He jumps over the wall. The X-Strike trying to find him. Maka gets the auto attack and finds the kill. With minions coming over to look at this fort too. Monkeys can turn their attention over towards the boss.
And I don't really like what the Zealots just did there. I mean, I get the idea originally when your opponent is on 9.5 that you try to look for the engage, but that they actually went in when the Haka as well, when 10 was just so close and the minion wells just collided. That was just you asking for trouble. And now they lose one of their heroes. That opens up a boss play, especially with level 10 abilities. It's a quick take. They're trying to set even more kills up, and they're already going for Shat here. He gets away, but they're having an easy clear on the fort now if they commit to it. The boss is at the bot lane, the temple is activating. Zealots are currently just absolutely falling apart here. They need a good fight once they hit their own level 10. But the monkeys, they are getting the most out of this situation. They are playing really good.
Tahaka's working furiously in the top lane to try and get level 10, and he's getting close to it, but as you mentioned, that boss in the bottom lane pushing in, opening up the gates, grabbing these turrets, and should be able to get a well as well if monkeys commit to it. With Robodoba coming in from a flank though, Zeal's going to try to turn this away quickly. A Contagion comes, or Isolation comes out, does hit a Nubarak, but Splinter's there with the heal. However, without that heal being up, we're going to have Phoenix deleted. The Zealots actually answer back, and this should allow for them to grab the temple.
Yeah, Splendor was very early on the Ancestral and went for the save on the isolation target, but the Zealots shifted their attention over to Phoenix. So it's actually really well done by them. And they're about to get a kill against Remaballer if they confirm that, but they just are not able to do it. Remaballer is still in play. Splendor gets body blocked by his own teammate for a second. Everybody clustered in that small area down here. And now we see the Zealots, after they take the boss, go for the temple. That was the kill that they needed, and they're starting to make these plays. It was a good shift in focus that they had during that fight, and if not for that, the monkeys would have probably walked away with a victory.
They are definitely showing some life, but with Li Ming having them back due to needing to get some mana, monkeys with Phoenix back decide to go ahead and grab the temple to the south, and if they give all the shots, which they should, this will be a fort. There it is. So the first layer of defense for the Zealots are completely gone between all 3 lanes, while on the side of the monkeys, they have everything.
And here, once again, they engage. They know they need to win. They need to get kills. And then going straight for Blaze, and he goes down. Well done, but the salvo comes out, and there could be a couple of kills coming in now if Genji gets his resets. And he's looking for them, but he misses the X-Strike, doesn't get anything. The isolation comes through again. Marke! Rega is falling as Marke is looking for the kill. Everyone's low, but not a single kill confirmed for the monkeys. The Zealots definitely fighting for their life in the series now.
And they're getting some experience on these kills too. 4 to 3 so far in terms of kills. They're looking to open down this fort in the bottom left. They send a Haka on the expedition of clearing out the other waves. So getting that fort will at least give them a little bit more experience, move towards that level 13. And they're getting into a situation now where at least they can be on even talents moving in the next fight.
Yeah, and finally we're seeing a little bit of life on the Zealots here. Better coordination, and they realized simply we can't win through sheer objective control anymore. We lost the entire outer layer of defense. We lost all our forts and all our turrets there. So if the monkeys trade objectives with us, we will lose. We need kills, we need fights, so let's force it. And they've done it over and over again and got their kills. 4 kills against 3 now. So they are nearly even in experience. And that actually means that if they drop the last 2 forts that exist on the side of the monkeys, they will even get ahead. But the monkeys, they're still ahead here. But they definitely need to respect that the Zealots are not... You're not just gonna... This is not a pushover opponent. Yes, you're in a 2-0 lead, and they have struggled. But you can't take them too lightly or they're going to punish you for it.
You can't run them over. Zealots are definitely putting up a couple of walls right now. And they're starting to take control of the map back. Velvet Knight camp in the top right they can get to, but monkeys are intending to take back this bottom lane. They grab the Giants, clear out the minion wave, forces Zealots to come down to them. And with 2 temples activating, monkeys can now decide whether or not they want to take control of the south side or move up towards the top and try to siege away, especially with that Knight camp just now being grabbed.
Yeah, Genji is now starting to make his way to the top to control vision, first of all. Also, Robodovo, of course, still hammering out these storm balls. Didn't go for the stack talent on level 1 for perfect storm. Instead, he went into the third win. So, proccing his trade a little bit earlier and healing that up faster. Nice connect by Zarmany here. Isolation attempt by him too, but that didn't connect.
They have Karazim rotating over. Zealots want to fight this. They would love to pick off Mage if they can. But Monkeys, they have the defense from the teammates.
And
Proji, hang on, needs to be careful here as Robodobo comes in.
That's a big heroic that has already been burned, so that's a cooldown that they're missing now, and that's where the Monkeys are looking for a fight. They know exactly that they can pull this off, especially with their camp just now moving in. It's another advantage for them on the lane.
Zealots here, eking out the 5v5. Looking for the drag after a Storm Bolt. Rimmer jumps in, drops the Impale. Make working on some auto attacks. Alex Proji, he's going for that wide flank, trying to find where he can hit the jet propulsion. He goes in, doesn't hit anybody, but at least he can body block.
Yeah, they're body blocking. Bunker comes out. Here's the salvo coming through. Damage is in. They're looking for the kill. They can't find it just yet, but they're fighting on top of that spell aura as well. Zealots cannot turn this around.
Zealots can't turn it around, but they are sieging where they can. Zarmany's starting to take some damage. That spell aura just being a little bit too much. Jet propulsion connects on Zarmany into the knockup. Zarmany's been knocked up, and he gets killed.
Zarmany is down, and they can push through the wall now easily. They can take the wall and then retreat and take the temple. So the Monkeys, once again, with a slight lead here. Cooldowns mostly used. Arrow as well. 7-sided still available for the Zealots, but that's not going to be enough. Robodovo is in trouble and nearly gets stunned again, but barely jumps out. The second turret is about to fall, and that's when the Monkeys just head back to the top lane. And there's still a second temple on the bottom of the map.
That spell aura was such an issue for the Zealots. They just couldn't get any damage on the Monkeys, and the Monkeys made sure to sit in the front to make sure that it couldn't be sieged upon. They took the brunt of that damage. He's got it healed up through Rhaegar, even an early ancestor healing. Shad by himself, though, goes for a run, 7-side the strike, but Genji walks in, gets the deflected, finds a kill with the help of Blaze.
Genji gets the kill, and this is really just starting to look like the beginning of the end. Monkeys are about to hit level 16, and the Zealots are in so much trouble right now. They're staggering depths as well. There comes the isolation, but it gets dodged by Alex. Great move with a bunker here once again, and now Menagerie is in trouble. If they can stun lock him here, he's going to be toast, and that's exactly what they're going to try and do. Should
be able to. Impale comes out, Burchard as well. Quickness tried to get the reset out a little bit earlier so he could maybe jump out, but that didn't happen. Quack goes in and get a reset on Rimmer, and he actually gets it. Calamity is out, but still takes a salvo to the face.
Good counter kill. I mean, that was at least something that they pulled off here, but there's still a bad trade on their end, and now we are still talking about the temples. And with you already taking down your opponent's forts and taking down the wall at the top keep, now you're attacking the keep directly in just a few seconds. I don't think they can really confirm it just yet. I'm not pretty sure if there were enough shots left or not, but it's going to be close, and it's definitely going to threaten the top lane severely in the long run.
Dahaka trying to take some shots from the bottom, only hitting a fort, but at least getting some damage there. While Zealots will also try to grab experience everywhere they can, grabbing Giants at the bottom right, Hanzo soaking in the middle to at least get 16. So while they're behind dramatically on Sky Temple, which is a really rough situation to be in, at least they'll be on 16 against their opponents and be able to dance around the boss.
Genji is pushing in the top lane now, so they know that, oh, they're making boss play. Zealots are going for a bit of a Hail Mary attempt right now. Genji has pushed out the top lane, so we're going to see that lane pushing in heavily against the keep. But down here, an early attack against Robodovo. He nearly falls. If that boss is stolen away from the Zealots, Muradin is down. This is going to be a disaster for them.
This has got to be game here.
Oh my god.
Propulsion hits 3, and Lornado helps out on the back right. Maka goes in. He's looking at Shad. X-Strike here as well. Couple of auto attacks, and Chris is attempting to get away. He'll be able to get home, but Zarmany, he's stuck by himself. He gets picked off. The boss is taken. A temple is available to grab. Monkeys can now just push in the bottom lane and run it down bot.
Full fiesta in the late game now. Zealots losing 4. They go for a Hail Mary move as they see Genji top, and they're saying, guys, we need to do something. Let's go for boss right now. And it just backfires horribly. The top keep is nearly dead. The boss is moving through the bot lane. So are the Monkeys. They're going for this. This is going to be a 3-0 unless we somehow have miracle resets on Li Ming and they can team wipe the Monkeys. This is not looking good by any means for the Zealots.
Li Ming's back, and Robodobo's going to do what he can. He jumps in, stuns Crosby. Bunker comes out to make sure Alex Poji does not take the hit, and Cocoon instantly lands on top of Li Ming, stopping her from getting the resets. And the Monkeys come out on day 3 of the HGC and get a 3-0 over the Zealots. Wow. Yeah. Looking clean. Great early game. I think it's the one thing you can look at when it comes to the Monkeys right now is they know how to control the flow of the map. And the moment they get that control and they get that lead, they seem to know how to keep it. We had a couple of moments where the temple on the bottom side that looked a little wonky for them. But other than that, man, they are looking clean.
Yes, they definitely did. And that is a rough start into phase 2 for the Zealots. For the Monkeys, it's fantastic. Getting this victory, this is an important one, and it really helps them. And it's also, of course, a motivational boost. But the Zealots, they find themselves in a really, really dark place now. Starting with a map record, if I'm not mistaken, of 1 map win and 6 map losses and an 0-2 in matches into Phase 2 on your first weekend. That is horrible for them. And again, you have a new shot caller, you have a new drafter. There's a lot of changes coming into this team, so it's absolutely understandable that they're not necessarily on the same page yet. We can still expect improvements from them. But especially if you go up against potentially direct competitor in the standings and you fall short to take even a single map, that's not a good place to be in.
And you can't fault them too much for going for that boss play on Sky Temple. The problem is they didn't put an out plan at all. They allowed for the jet propulsion to come in and land 3 on top of them, and then Darude on the backside. Pushing the rest of the Zealots in was a little bit too much. But that was a power play that needed to be made. On Sky Temple, when you are behind, you have to make a play. So it's a totally a fine shot call. It's just that they need to be spread out and make sure they don't get locked into place.
Yeah, let's talk about that call again, because you can look at it and you can say, like, oh my god, what a horrible decision to go for boss there. But what just happened is they grabbed level 16, and they already know that from a structural perspective on the map, they are far behind. Not just simply by a single fort or something. They lost the entire top wall already, half their keep is down there as well. So they know if they draw it out and they're playing the long game,
they lose.
They are going to lose eventually, especially since there's still the option for their opponent to play around them and just use mobility through Genji to just push lanes out as he did at the top there. So they said, we have 1 fight, let's take this. We know Genji's top. If we rush this with Hanzo on our end, we might have the chance. But then it gets scouted a bit earlier than they were hoping for. They hoped that the scout would happen just a few seconds later. And then, as you said, there's a jet propulsion coming in, hitting home. Alex does everything right there. And they just can't take the boss. But it was a Hail Mary move where they said, we need to do something. We can't just like wait and lose it in the long run.
So with it all